ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे सुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजता दधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। आप सभी का स्वागत है इस भगवद गीता के सत्र में।
We welcome all of you to today's Bhagavad Gita.
भगवद गीता तृतीय अध्याय के 22वें श्लोक से यहाँ पर
We are studying third chapter, verse 22 onwards. Here, Bhagavan is explaining Karma Yoga
अर्जुन के प्रश्न के उत्तर में कि उनके लिए क्या श्रेष्ठ
in answer to Arjuna's question that what is best for me,
मेरा श्रेय होगा वो मेरे को बताइए। तो उन्होंने कहा कि आप
which will be ultimately beneficial for me. Please, so Bhagavan said that you perform karma.
असक्त ही आचरण कर्म परमाप्नोति पुरुष, कि आप निरासक्त होकर अपना
That you
कर्तव्य
should become detached and perform your duty according to your varna and ashram. Whatever is prescribed, you should follow that, and that will be of supreme benefit
इस
for
विषय
you.
में उन्होंने बोला था कि जो भी
In this regard, he had also spoken that whatever the is done by great people, the ordinary people imitate that.
दिया था कि आप
So he had given the logic that you should also perform your karma
आप एक
because
श्रेष्ठ व्यक्ति हैं
you are a
और श्रेष्ठ
very
व्यक्ति जो
well-known
होता है
person,
दूसरे उसको आदर्श मानते
superior
हैं,
person in the society, and
उसकी हम
whatever
पालना करते हैं।
great people like you perform, it is followed or it is imitated by
तो
the
ये एक
common
महत्वपूर्ण
public.
बात उन्होंने कही थी
So he had
पिछले श्लोक में
spoken
जो हमने
this
पिछले
very important point
पढ़ा था
in the previous verse,
कि
which we had studied in the
संसार
previous class.
जैसे एक गाड़ी है या कोई भी वाहन है,
So suppose
इसका
there is
चालक
a
होता है
vehicle, it has a
और बाकी
driver
उसमें यात्री बैठते हैं,
and
तो वो
others
तो
are
जहाँ जाना
passengers
चाहिए
sitting in that vehicle. So
वहाँ
wherever
चलते
the
हैं,
driver will take the
तो
vehicle,
इस
the
प्रकार
passengers
समाज
will
में भी
also go to
भगवान
that same
कई बातें
destination.
छिपे हुए हैं
The
जो
passengers do
हमें
not have any
या
independence. If
जीवन के अंदर ही
passengers are sitting
करते रहे
in
केवल
an
जीवन
aeroplane,
काल के अंदर ही।
you will reach wherever the
तो इसी
pilot will
प्रकार
take you.
हमारे समाज में कुछ
Similarly, in our society,
श्रेष्ठ पुरुष
some
बोलते
people
हैं या नेता
who we
बोलते हैं,
consider as
तो वो वास्तव में
leaders,
समाज को
like
चलाते हैं।
politicians, they govern the
हवाई जहाज
society.
में या रेलगाड़ी में या किसी कार में इत्यादि में तो हमको दिखता है कि ये चला रहा है और हम
In
बैठे
an
हुए हैं।
aeroplane, we can see the
समाज में
pilot
ऐसा दिखाई नहीं
who
पड़ता,
is driving.
वास्तव में ऐसा ही होता है कि
In this, but in the society, we cannot see that.
और उसके
But there are
निर्देश
some
पर चलते
people
चलाते हैं।
who frame the laws and they govern the society
शायद
according to those
समाज में
laws.
कई चीजें ऐसी हैं उनका हमको पता भी नहीं
Some
चलता,
things can be
जैसे
investigated
कि
by us,
राष्ट्रीय
but there are other things
नेता
which we
होते
can
हैं
never know.
जो अपने को
That
श्रेष्ठ मानते
how
हैं, वो
the
नीति
politicians, how they frame
जिसके
the
हिसाब से समाज
policies, the
चले वो
laws,
कैसे बात
and
करते
how
हैं,
they govern the
क्या
society.
बोलते हैं, उनका अपना एक योजना रहती है।
They have
तो
their own
पहले जो
plans,
श्रेष्ठ
their
पुरुष
own
थे वो
systems, their
श्रेष्ठ
policies.
धार्मिक पुरुष होते थे। ये श्रेष्ठ शब्द जो
So
है ये
earlier,
पारस्य शब्द से आता है
the
जिसका
leaders were very religious.
प्रशंसनीय होता है।
Shrestha
श्रेष्ठ
means
व्यक्ति
one
का
who
स्वभाव
is
एक
worth
ऐसा
glorifying.
चरित्र ऐसा है
He has
कि
such
आप
great
वेदों के
qualities and
धार्मिक
character
विचारों का गान करते
that
हैं,
you
खासकर किसी व्यक्ति
feel
को देखकर जो
naturally
बहुत दयालु है,
like glorifying that person.
परोपकारी है, तो आपके मन में
Like if you
स्वतः
see
ही
some
उसके
person
प्रति
is highly
प्रशंसा भावना
charitable,
जागती है।
compassionate, then
तो ऐसे
naturally
व्यक्ति को
you
श्रेष्ठ
feel
ऐसे
very
मानते हैं जो
favorable
सबसे
towards that
उत्तम है,
person.
सर्वोत्तम है,
So
उसको
among
श्रेष्ठ
such
मानते हैं।
people also, whoever is the
श्रेष्ठ
greatest,
व्यक्ति
that is called Shrestha.
तो श्रेष्ठ व्यक्ति के ऊपर एक बहुत बड़ा उत्तरदायित्व होता है समाज
So
के
the
प्रति।
Shrestha person, the
जिससे
leader
सृष्टि है
has a great responsibility.
और जिससे
The glorification that
सृष्टि
he
है उसके प्रति
relieves,
आपकी प्रशंसा
that he
होती है, आपको
receives,
अच्छा
which
लगता है,
may
आदर
also
आता है।
give him pleasure.
तो उस
We feel
प्रशंसा
happy
को
when we are glorified.
उसके
We feel sad
प्रशंसक
when we are
का अर्थ ये
criticized.
रहता है कि वो इस
So
प्रशंसा
such
का
great
बड़ा
people, when they
कदरदान
are
करते हैं कि
glorified,
जो
then
आपकी
also they
प्रशंसा
have a
करते
great
हैं
responsibility
उनके मन में आपके
that
प्रति दुर्भावना आ जाए।
the people who are glorifying me,
तो
they
ये
I should not
जो
act in
कुछ
such a
लोग
way
इस
that
प्रकार
they
की चीजें
become
करते हैं, उनकी
against
जब
me.
प्रशंसा होने लगती है तो बस वो अपनी
So
प्रशंसा को
nowadays,
छोड़ते हैं
leaders do
और
not
अपने
care
कर्तव्य
about
का
what
पालन
public
करते
feels
हैं
about
लोगों के
them.
प्रति।
They do not bother about
वह
their
देखते हैं कि जो बड़े
responsibilities
बड़े
towards
नेता
the
उसके
society.
बाद
We see such great politicians,
उनकी निंदा करने
leaders.
लगते हैं,
After some time,
बहुत
they
प्रशंसा
start
होती है
getting
लेकिन उनकी
criticized.
निंदा भी होती है।
Initially, they are glorified, and
इसका
later,
कारण
they
क्या
are
है
heavily criticized
कि वे
also.
श्रेष्ठ व्यक्ति
So,
का
what is the reason?
उत्तरदायित्व नहीं समझे।
The reason is that politician
वो
or
कहीं
leader
अपने
did not
समाज में जैसे
understand
परिवार
his
में जैसे कोई
responsibility.
मुखिया है परिवार
Like
का,
there is a family, in the
उसके
family there is a
उत्तरदायित्व
head of
होता
the
है,
family.
ऐसे
So the head
छोटे
of the
स्तर
family
पर
has some
समाज में
responsibility.
छोटे
It
स्तर
is
पर
not
छोटे
that
छोटे
leader is there only in the country or
उनको
society.
भी अपना ये
And even at the smallest
कर्तव्य
level, there are
समझना
leaders.
चाहिए
So the head of the
कि
family
केवल
should
उनका कार्य
also
नहीं निभाना
perform
है
his
तो
responsibilities
इसका उसके
carefully.
ऊपर असर
If he does
पड़ता
not
है।
do that,
शास्त्र में हम
then
पढ़ते
it
हैं
will
कि
influence the
राजा
other
को
people
जब प्रजा का
in the
एक
family or the
हिस्सा उसको मौका
society.
मिलता है, ऐसा आपने
Like
सुना होगा
we hear in
कि
Shastra that the
एक
king
शिष्य का पास
share
मिलता है
some share of the sins of
तो इस
the
व्यक्ति से
public,
कहने का
or the
मतलब
guru
क्या है
shares the sins of the
कि शिष्य
disciple.
हो या
So
गुरु
what
हो या
is the
आचार्य
purport behind that, whether it is
तो
king or
शास्त्र में
guru or
कहते हैं कि
acharya,
जब कुछ
whoever?
लोग चलते हैं
There are people
तो इस
who
व्यक्ति के
follow
ऊपर उत्तरदायित्व
the
रहता है कि
leader or the guru.
उनको समाज में
So
जो
these
नियम है
leaders or gurus, they have
उनके आचरण का पालन करना
responsibility
चाहिए,
that those who are under them,
उसी को
they
बोलते हैं
maintain proper
आचार्य।
character or behavior. That is the meaning of
आचरती
acharya.
अप्यति अपि स्वयं चैव आचरति तेन आचार्यता स्मृत, वो स्वयं भी आचरण करता है तो ये स्वयं
The
आचरण के
acharya
द्वारा
himself also does acharan,
यद्यपि
proper
आचरण कर
behavior.
रहा है
So here Bhagavan is
तो
speaking about
आचरण के ऊपर कैसे
acharan, proper character,
शास्त्र में
proper behavior.
बल दिया गया है
So
कि
Shastra has
आचरण करना
place tremendous emphasis on acharan.
आजकल क्या है कि
Nowadays,
पर बल नहीं देते हैं। अब
there is
आचरण
no
शब्द उसी धातु से एक आचार
nowadays there is no focus on achar. The focus is on prachar.
प्रचार पर ज्यादा
The focus is on preaching.
थोड़ा सा
Nowadays people give lot of emphasis on preaching. You learn little bit of shastra and then start preaching.
शास्त्र का जो सार है
They even say that the essence of all the shastras is
शास्त्र का
preaching.
सार जो है वो प्रचार नहीं है।
But the
शास्त्र
fact is
आचार
that preaching is not the essence of shastras. The essence of shastras is achara,
महाजन
proper character,
पंथा।
proper behavior.
सब श्लोक क्या कहते हैं? आचरण के ऊपर बोलते हैं।
These verses place emphasis on acharan,
यदि
on proper character,
वो स्वयं भी आगे अपना प्रमाण देंगे।
ideal behavior. So in the upcoming verses, Bhagavan will also give praman that even I follow proper behavior. So preaching is not the essence of the shastras. What is the meaning of the word shastra? Shastra is from shas dhatu, which means to discipline, to do shasan. It gives you a code of conduct, proper behavior, what actions should be done, what should not be done. That is called shastra. In Gita, Bhagavan also says,
तस्मात् शास्त्रम प्रमाणम ते कार्य कार्य व्यवस्थितो ज्ञात्वा शास्त्र विधानोक्तम कार्य कर्तुम यह अर्हसि। भगवान कहते हैं इसलिए आपका प्रमाण
Bhagavan says that shastra is the praman.
का मतलब ये
Praman means
कि आपको
to understand. If you want to understand what you should do, what you should not do, you have to learn shastra. It's a system. Shastra has given a system of do's and don'ts. We are always engaged in action, and Bhagavan has said that nobody can continue to live without doing anything in order to maintain the body.
अगर आप काम नहीं करेंगे तो आपका
If you do not work, how will you survive?
ज्ञानी पुरुष भी कार्य
So even a very intelligent person also is always engaged in action. Bhagavan is also always engaged in action. But what type of action should be done? For that there is Shastra.
फल होगा ये हमें पता नहीं।
Why do we need Shastra? Because we do not know the result of our action.
कर्मण्येव अधिकारः
That is why in Gita, in 3rd chapter, Bhagavan says that your adhikar is in karma, not on the phala.
कोई स्वतंत्र नहीं
Adhikar means you do not have the independence
ऐसा फल मेरे को मिले जाए
to decide the result of your action,
इसके ऊपर हमारा नियंत्रण नहीं है।
because you cannot control that.
फल मिलेगा ये भगवान ही जानते हैं।
What result will be derived from your action, only Bhagavan knows exactly.
सुननी चाहिए
That is why we should listen to Bhagavan's teachings. Shastra is the order of Bhagavan.
साक्षात भगवत प्रणीतम। शास्त्र क्या है? जो साक्षात भगवान ने जिसका प्रणयन किया
Shastra is direct revelation of Bhagavan.
उनकी वाणी है।
It is Bhagavan's Vani,
यह स्वयं पद्मनाभ
his word.
मुख पद्मनाद विनिश्रिता, जो स्वयं भगवान के मुख से निकली है वही तो भगवत गीता है। उनकी वाणी
Bhagavad Gita is that which has emanated directly from the lotus mouth of Bhagavan.
होता है हम नहीं जानते।
So Bhagavan knows the result of every action.
हम भोजन कर रहे हैं इस शरीर में क्या
We don't even know that when we are eating, what impact it has on the body.
ये कमी है
We eat food, but then doctor says
भोजन को
that if you have this deficiency, you should eat this or that.
ये मिनरल
Just by seeing food, can you say how much vitamin, etc., whatever I will get? So doctor means one who understands the science of the Shastra of medicine. He is an expert in that field. So similarly, Bhagavan knows, the rishis know
क्या फल होगा
which karma has
शास्त्र की रचना
what result.
इसलिए
So they have given us these shastras. That's why Bhagavan says, Shastra is your praman. Do not become whimsical in your life. Learn and follow Shastra.
करता है वही आपका आचरण करना चाहिए।
And you should do only what Shastra says. So as I was saying, Shastra means that which gives you vidhi.
के उसका पालन कर
This is what you should do.
मतलब आचरण करना
Means you should follow. You should do acharan. You should have character according to Shastra. So the essence of Shastra is achar. It is not prachar. First you should study Shastra. You should learn. You should behave. You should imbibe that. Should act according to Shastra.
को हम आचार्य बोलते हैं चाहे वो
Should realize that. Then you do prachar. So if you say the great preachers like Shri Ramanujacharya, Shri Vallabhacharya, Shri Madhvacharya, or Sri Guru Nanak Ji. These are great personalities. Like in our Sampradaya, Sri Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda, they did the preaching.
आज पहले तो इंटरनेट नहीं था, स्वयं उनको जाना
That
पड़ता
time
था,
there was no internet.
पूरे भारत
They
वर्ष
used
में
to
नित्यानंद प्रभु जी
roam
घूमे,
and preach. Even
जब
Mahaprabhu and Nityanand Prabhuji also
तो
roamed. Vallabhacharya ji also did that. Sri Guru Nanak
तो
also
उन्होंने प्रचार
traveled.
किया,
So
लेकिन वो प्रचार
their
करने के
preaching,
योग्य व्यक्ति थे, प्रचार करने
they
की योग्यता
were
पहले
qualified
शास्त्र
for
में होनी
preaching.
चाहिए।
First of all,
शास्त्रज्ञ होना
one
और
should
फिर आचरण
obtain
करना,
the qualification for preaching. And what are the what is the qualification? There are two
प्रचार
qualifications:
करते जाओ
learn Shastra
और
and
आचरण
imbibe the
करो
character in your life.
शास्त्र।
Nowadays, what
कोई
happens?
अयोग्य
Just
हो
keep
केवल
preaching
प्रचारक बन जाए,
and make a crowd of
कोई नहीं आगे
unqualified
बढ़ेगा,
people, and those unqualified
और फिर
people
वो
become
शास्त्र को
preachers, then they become leaders, and then
शास्त्र को
they
छोड़ेंगे,
twist the Shastra.
क्योंकि अब वो जब वो श्रेष्ठ पुरुष बन गए और उनका शास्त्र के अनुरूप आचरण नहीं है
Now, when they have become
और लोग
Shreshtas,
उंगली उठाते हैं
leaders,
उनके
and
ऊपर,
their
तो उल्टा
character is not according to
शास्त्र को
Shastra, their behavior is not according to Shastra, and people raise point
ये
fingers at them,
समाज
then
में ऐसी
what is
स्थिति
the
है,
option left with these leaders? The option is to twist Shastra
प्रचार
itself.
हो रहा है, फिर समाज में तो कुछ
That is why people
ऐसा
complain
बदलाव देख के
that
नहीं
so
आता,
much preaching is happening in the society, but we do not see any change
क्योंकि उसका
in
प्रभाव
people's
कैसे
lives,
पड़ेगा, क्योंकि
character,
प्रचार करने
behavior.
वाला वो
So why
पहले
don't
से
we see the change? Change is only possible when the
समाज है
preacher himself is
उसी का अनुकरण
actually
करेगा,
influential according to Shastra.
तो
If the
अपेक्षित
preacher
फल
is doing something wrong, then the
अपेक्षित
followers will also imbibe that.
कोई श्रेष्ठ
So you
पुरुष
must
अगर समाज
have
में कुछ
heard
गलत
this
कर रहा है
verse, Apichet Suduracharo.
और दुराचार
So
करने
people
वाले
quote this verse. They say that
साधु
Bhagavan has said, even if sadhu
इस
is
श्लोक
doing
का क्या अर्थ
durachar,
है
doing something
ये
wrong,
आपको समझना पड़ेगा।
consider him a sadhu. People quote this.
अब श्लोक का उसका
So you have
अर्थ
to
क्या है
actually
इसको
understand this verse properly, but people
अपनी इच्छा
twist
अनुसार जो
the meaning
समझते
of
हैं
this
व्याख्या
verse
कर दी जाती
and
है, श्लोक का ये
they
अर्थ है
take the
नहीं,
meaning of this verse according to
वो
their whims
श्लोक
and
उसके
fancies.
भ्रष्टाचार
That
और
verse
दुराचार का
is
समर्थन
actually
करता
not
है,
supporting corruption
वो श्लोक
or
कहता है कि
wrong character,
जो
wrong behavior.
इसके लिए
That verse is simply showing
इसके
the
लिए
power of
जो
bhakti.
दुराचारी है
Bhagavan
वो
is
बढ़िया है,
showing
इसके लिए
there.
ताली बजाइए आप।
Is
तो ये ऐसा होने से ही इस धर्म का पतन हुआ,
so because of
और फिर क्या होता है
this
जो
system
जिन लोगों की
of
श्रद्धा
preaching by
नहीं है
unqualified
उनकी
people, dharma
उंगली
gets
उठाते हैं, निंदा करते
lost,
हैं,
or you can say
और
its standard
जिसकी
goes down.
श्रद्धा है वो
Then people
दूसरों को
start
बताने लगता
pointing
है,
fingers at others,
बुद्धिमान लोग
and
कहते
many
हैं कि आप
people
इतना
they
समय
lose their
लगाकर प्रचार
shraddha.
कर रहे थे,
So
इसके लिए
they
ताली बजाओ।
think that we gave so
इसीलिए
much
कहते हैं
time
शनिवार के आरक्षित
for all
क्षेत्रों में
this,
गृहस्थ
and what did we get? We have heard so many
प्रचार
times
करने के लिए
people say
साधुओं से
that we
मिलते हैं,
grihasthas are far better than you sadhus.
ये तो इनका तो ऐसा आचरण है,
You
ये
have
तो
such
ऐसे झगड़ा करते हैं,
this type of
ऐसे
behavior,
करते हैं,
character. You are always fighting among
ये
yourselves,
बहुत बड़ी समस्या है,
but we don't
इसीलिए
do like
भगवान
that.
यहाँ पर
So
बोल रहे
this
हैं,
is a big problem. That's
इसीलिए मैं
why
इस
Bhagavan is
श्लोक पर इतना
speaking here.
बल दे रहा हूँ, क्योंकि ये महत्वपूर्ण श्लोक है, हर एक साधक को इसको समझना
So
चाहिए,
this is a very, very important verse. Every
दूसरों को
sadhak
समझना
should
चाहिए,
understand this for
क्योंकि हम
himself
दूसरों से बहुत
and
जल्दी प्रभावित हो जाते
also
हैं।
for others, because we easily get influenced
मैंने
by
पिछले
others.
पाठ में भी कहा था कि
So
किसी
the
के पास
like I told in the
अगर
previous
ज्ञान है
class,
लेकिन
there are
आचरण
some
नहीं है
people who have knowledge but
तो
do not
उनसे आप
have
ज्ञान ले
good
सकते हैं,
character.
कोई
So you
बात
can
नहीं,
take
लेकिन
knowledge
उन पर मत
but
चलिए,
do
आप
not
जांच
get
करिए कि
influenced
उनमें
by their
गुण तो है
character.
लेकिन ज्ञान नहीं
There
है,
are some people who have good character
ठीक है,
but do
वो
not
गलती कर सकते
do
हैं,
not
उसमें
have
कोई
good
बुराई
knowledge.
नहीं है कि
So
ऐसा
that is
करो
fine,
कि आचरण
but
अच्छा
they
हो,
may make mistake because they do not have the knowledge in which
अच्छा
situation
व्यक्ति वो
how
है,
to
श्रेष्ठ
act.
व्यक्ति वास्तव में वो
So
है
the best
जो
person
शास्त्र
is
ज्ञान
that
शास्त्र का
who is
ज्ञान है
learned in
और
Shastra
उसका
as
आचरण
well as
करता है,
he has ideal character.
उसी की बात भगवान यहाँ पर कर
So
रहे हैं।
Bhagavan is
ये
speaking
श्रेष्ठ
of that
शब्द
person
प्रयोग
here.
किया है यहाँ
The word
पर,
Shrestha which is
श्रेष्ठ
used here
ये ऐसे व्यक्ति को ही श्रेष्ठ
is
यहाँ कहा
for
गया है
that type
जिसको
of
शास्त्र का
person
ज्ञाता
who
है,
is learned in Shastra and also has ideal
और वो
character.
तभी होगा जब उसके अंदर भौतिक आसक्ति, विषय
That is
आसक्ति,
only possible when such a person
जिसके
is
अंदर
free from
विषयों के प्रति
material
आसक्ति है,
attachment. One who
नहीं
has material
तो उसमें
attachment,
गड़बड़ आएगा।
he will definitely have, he or she will have definitely
इसलिए
have some
इंद्रिय
flaws
निग्रह
somewhere in his
और
character.
मिथ्याचार की बात पहले कही, इसलिए
That is
कही
why
कि बाहर से कर्म इंद्रियाणि संयम्य आस्ते मनसा स्मरण, तो बाहर से आप
so
कर्म
that's why
इंद्रियों को
Bhagavan
नियंत्रण
had
कर
told
सकते हैं, उसके
earlier
बारे में आप
that
कर सकते हैं, तो मिथ्याचार
People show control of senses externally, but they meditate on sense enjoyment internally. So this is mithyachar, hypocrisy. This is not correct. So when we have come to the spiritual path and our goal is to realize Bhagavan, so then we should meditate. Does Bhagavan actually like my character, my behavior, my actions? So we should understand that we are not cheating others by our hypocrisy. We are cheating ourselves because we cannot cheat Bhagavan. Bhagavan is sitting in our heart. So he knows everything. In front of Bhagavan, everyone is naked, absolutely, totally naked, 100% naked. There is absolutely nothing that you can hide from Bhagavan. So when you hide your character or behavior from others, your actions from others, then whom are you cheating? You are cheating yourself only. So that is why we should not behave or act in such a way that when others hear about that, they lose faith. This is a standard. This is a parameter. First of all, we should not act in a way such that my own buddhi intelligence tells me that why am I doing this? Do not go against your own intelligence. Don't act in a way wherein your own conscience pricks you and gives you a guilty feeling. If you get that, you should understand that what you are doing is wrong. Do not support that. Otherwise, you will become weak hearted. Bhagavan has given us buddhi, intelligence. We can get out of this bondage of this material world by using our buddhi. We are equipped with that. But if we do not respect our buddhi, then Bhagavan also cannot protect us. Because the energy that Bhagavan has given to us, we if we misuse that, then what can Bhagavan do? If you give money to somebody and that person misuses the money you have given, why will he give you money again? So Bhagavan has given us the most important thing in this human life, that is our buddhi, intelligence. So we should protect the buddhi very carefully. We should make sure that it is not getting polluted by our diet, by our association, by our lifestyle. We should not pollute our intelligence. That is why there are so many rules and restrictions in our dharma. Those rules and restrictions are given to make sure that our intelligence remains pure. Because if intelligence gets polluted, then our fall down is guaranteed. Because buddhi is that which operates everything. And if you are not listening to the driver, if you do not follow the driver only, if you start disrespecting the driver only, then your the vehicle will fall in the ditch. This is a true story which I know about that happened in a village. So there was a marriage party which was moving from one village to another. Earlier, the marriages used to continue for 3 days, marriage program. So the marriage party arrived late, and the people were ready to welcome the marriage party. Earlier, they were very people used to be very excited. There was a lot of excitement in the village. The marriage party was going because they used to get very less opportunities for traveling because village people mostly remained in their village, busy in their occupation in agriculture. So if they got some opportunity for traveling, they used to be very excited. So in such enthusiasm, excitement, if the bus arrives late, so the villagers were very angry, and the people in marriage party, they have lot of pride. So these people from the boy side, they feel that we are like the lord of the world. They feel very proud. So then when the bus arrived late, these villagers, they started beating the bus driver. Now the bus driver was alone. So what could he do? He could not protest. but he was angry internally. So when these people were all traveling in the bus, when he had to cross the Yamuna on the bridge, so he just turned the bus and everybody fell down. He also died. He, the entire bus fell down. The driver himself also died. The point is that our buddhi is the driver. If we do not obey the buddhi, intelligence, then we will definitely fall down. That is why it is very important, very highly essential to respect the buddhi. Whatever knowledge we have, whatever our buddhi says, we should listen to buddhi because wisdom comes from intelligence. The more you listen to that, the more it will become powerful. So this buddhi tells us because ordinary things like not speaking lie, not giving trouble to others, everybody understands all this. No, there is nobody who doesn't understand this. So we have to listen to this voice that I should not cheat anyone. Why do I have to cheat anybody? Why do I have to speak lie and usurp others' property? This is ideal character, ideal behavior. What is the praman for this ideal character or behavior? The praman is Shastra. Praman means if somebody is behaving in a certain way, let's say there is a Brahman and he is following his Brahmana dharma. Now he will not follow the Kshatriya dharma, but he can tell the praman to the Kshatriya that this is the praman for your dharma. That's why two things are mentioned here. 2 points. One is acharan and one is the praman. So this Brahman can also tell the Praman to another person for a dharma which is not that of the Brahmana. But the Brahman knows that Praman of others' dharmas also. So I am again coming back to the same point because this is very important that the essence of Shastra is acharan, not prachar, not preaching. According to Purva Mimamsa also, Vedas have 5 types of statements. In these 5 types, the first is Vidhi, and that is most important. The other 4 are just supporting Vidhi. And Vidhi means do this, meaning behave like this, act like this, do this, don't do that. So this is what Bhagavan is telling in Gita. Bhagavan is telling in Gita, first you learn Shastra and then act accordingly in society. So the fundamental point is about acharan, ideal character, ideal behavior. I am not in opposition to preaching. My point is the preacher should be highly qualified. When an unqualified person starts preaching, that leads to corruption in the society. And the preacher has a great responsibility on himself. He has the greatest responsibility. And what is that responsibility? That is ideal character. Because because the ordinary person does not understand the bhava inside the preacher. He just sees the behavior. If you tell somebody is a Siddha Purush, how do I know is a Siddha Purush? I will simply observe his behavior, his character, his actions, and by that I will derive conclusion whether he is fit to be called a Siddha Purush or no. That is why acharan, character, behavior should be ideal. That is very important. And what happens in preaching, the problem in preaching is that when a person starts preaching but he is not qualified, but he knows the art of preaching because everything has an art. So let's say this preacher is speaking very nicely, he will be successful, people will be influenced by him, they will follow him, and this preacher will get lot of name and fame, people will worship him. This is natural, nothing great. Now what will happen if that preacher if that preacher is not qualified, he will get attached to this name and fame and the worship that he is getting from his followers. Then he will make sure to act in such way that increases his name and fame. Now then what will happen? his earlier objective of preaching will become secondary, and his own self worship that will become primary. Bhagavan will become secondary, and he himself will become primary. His own preaching will become primary. Then he will always keep observing how people are worshipping me, they are garlanding me, they are giving me proper seat or no. Then this person will start focusing on all that. Then he will make his own society, an institution, because he has to take care of all these people. Then he will makes an institution, and then for institution he needs management. He has to make management system, and for management he needs help of other people. Now those other people are not qualified, they just came by getting influenced by this preacher. Now all these unqualified people, they will become the managers, leaders of the institution. And these unqualified leaders, they will have their own influence, they will have their own sense of self worship. Then no, they themselves do not have power, but they will derive power by quoting the name of the leader of the institution. They will misuse the name of the founder of the institution, and these people will become influential, and they will start twisting the shastra. When they will hear something they are saying against the shastra, if people complain, they will say no, the founder said like this. So then what will happen? The person will become a greater priority compared to Shastra. So I have experienced this personally, and you can also experience this. So always giving priority, number one priority to Shastra, and always acting, behaving according to Shastra. This is very challenging. And in order to be successful in this, you have to be fully determined. You cannot say that no, for preaching I can do this or do that. For preaching, if you start twisting the Shastra or introduce new things for preaching, then slowly, deviations will happen. I had seen this earlier. There was some big acharya, he went away, and then his disciples became acharya, then started doing different things, and they started quoting no, the our main acharya also did this. So the main acharya, he changed little bit, and his followers started making more changes. So they said, why can't we do that? We are also acharyas. If he did that, we can also do. So this is yad yad acharati shreshtas, what Bhagavan is teaching. That's why we have to be very careful about this point. For such a long time, our Indian culture remained very strong. The reason was that our acharyas were always focused on acharan. And when when deviation started in acharan, then all these problems started happening. Earlier, we did not hear of all these things happening. Nowadays, these are very rampant. The reason is nowadays focus is mainly on preaching, because in preaching we feel great sense of ego, we get worship, we get praise, our ego, our material ego gets nourished, becomes solidified. Everyone experiences this. That's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said Trinadapi Sunichena. Why did he recite this verse? He himself he himself followed this verse in his life. We all know that when he was cleaning the Gundicha temple, some devotee poured water on his lotus feet and started taking the Charnamrit. Then Mahaprabhu became so upset that why are you doing this? So Mahaprabhu exemplified ideal behavior, ideal character. So that is the importance is being shown here, that how acharan is of supreme importance, and there is no person in this world, there is no institution in this world which can become more important than Shastra. Because if that happens, then Shastra will remain just namesake. Then Shastra will become a servant of those people or the institutions. Then Shastra becomes a supporter of that institution. They will just take the name of that Shastra and they say that we are following this. But actually, if you investigate carefully, Shastra has become just an assistant to the institution. So then there is no spirituality in that. It is simply materialism. In materialism, you can at least see this is materialism. But in these cases, what I am discussing, it becomes very difficult to understand this is materialism or spirituality. But the fact is that if you are not giving supreme importance to Shastra, then what is spirituality? There is no spirituality in that. It is all materialism. Because common people may not be able to understand that, but one who is a Shastragya, learned in Shastra, he can see very clearly. That's why Bhagavan is emphasizing this point about Acharan in this verse. In Kathopanishad, there's an excellent verse regarding this.
स्वयं धीरा पंडितम मन्यमाना दंद्रम्यमाना परियंति मूढ़ा अंधेनैव नियमाना यथा अंधा। वो कहते हैं कि लोग जो अविद्या से परिपूर्ण हैं, अविद्या
So Upanishad is telling that those people who are full of avidya, they just play around in avidya. Avidya is also of two types. One is not knowing Shastra, that is one avidya, and second, knowing the Shastra in the wrong way, having the wrong meaning of Shastra, that is more dangerous. So one is Bhagavan's Maya and one is Jiva's Maya. So the unqualified people, when they become popular, Bhagavan's Maya is anyway there, but the Jiva also spreads his own Maya. He starts propagating his own ideas. And he starts considering himself a Pandit. I am a Siddha, I am learned in Shastra, I am very serious, grave. And then the people who follow, then Upanishad is telling, it's like following behind a blind person. So if you are following behind a blind person, then obviously you will sometimes you will fall in a ditch, sometimes you will end up walking on thorns, sometimes you will hit roadblocks. So the Upanishad is telling these type of people will take birth in multiple species of life in their upcoming births. This will be their condition. So in this is called herd mentality. Earlier, a long time back, I had read a news that there was a shepherd and he had a lot of sheep. He was herding the sheep, and one sheep was just on the cliff. When the one sheep fell down from the mountain, all the other also around 25,000 sheep, they also fell down. This is called blind, leading the blind people following. Now the problem is these people do not realize that we are following a blind person. So the leader also says that you follow me, and the people also say we are following a great leader. So that's why Bhagavan is speaking of a great verse, very important verse here, making very important point that the Shrestha people, first of all, you have to become Shrestha. And then your acharan, your character behavior should be according to that. Nowadays, there is another problem because people see that Shrestha people, so-called Shrestha people are not having ideal behavior. People are going on the other extreme. They are saying this, everything is all bogus. So there is no need of any guru because gurus exploit their disciples. They do not have proper behavior character. So they have created a new theory that you don't need any Shrestha person, you don't need any guru. But as I said earlier, common person, any will always follow somebody. Even if he is not following any Shrestha person, whom will he follow? Then he will follow social media.
मन से कहेगा नहीं ये ठीक है, तो अब स्वयं ही गुरु बन गए।
Then he himself will become a guru.
और इससे जो और भी एक सीढ़ी नीचे जाओगे तो वो है लिबरलिज्म,
Now, if you go one step even below this, then that is liberalism.
कि सब स्वतंत्र हैं, किसी को कुछ मत
The
करो।
freedom, so-called freedom movements,
तो मैंने ऐसे सुना है
liberalism.
जब बच्चे पैदा होते हैं
I've heard
अपने
don't
माँ
people
बाप
say
को
don't
ये
tell
नहीं कहना
anything
चाहिए,
to children.
पुरुष लड़का हो या लड़की
I've
हो,
heard that parents should not, people say parents should not even tell the children you are a boy or a girl, means you just leave everything to the child.
मत करो,
Do not impose any ideas on anybody. Don't instruct anyone.
क्योंकि
So
स्वतंत्रता
this is the greatest foolishness,
के अंदर कुछ विवेक होगा।
because freedom is given to the person who is
अगर
wise.
उसको आप सड़क पर छोड़ दो और उसको पता नहीं
If
है सड़क
you
पर क्या होता है, तो वो तो एक्सीडेंट
leave a small child on the road, then he will meet accident, he may die.
माँ बाप होने का फिर उत्तरदायित्व कुछ भी नहीं रहा, तुम कुछ भी करने
Then
दो,
what is the point of becoming parent?
में जो भी आता है वही करें। तो उनको यही पता नहीं है कि मैं लड़का हूँ कि लड़की हूँ। तो जब उनको इतना भी नहीं पता तो
What parenting are you doing if your child even doesn't know the child is a boy or a girl? So now this is a very dangerous situation. Now the child will grow up and everyone is having mobile and internet, so he will start getting education from internet.
लोग बैठे हुए हैं जिनको कुछ बेचना है,
And there are so many people ready to exploit children,
बेचना है,
exploit other
चाहे वो
people
अल्टन मस्क हो,
on the internet, whether it is
फेसबुक का चाचा हो,
so many people are ready to sell on internet, whether it is the owner of Facebook or is Elon Musk.
सिखा रहे हैं, तो सब कुछ वहां से सीखेंगे।
So if parents are not teaching children, then children will derive knowledge from internet,
उनके लिए वो श्रेष्ठ
because you have to learn something from
तो इससे अच्छा
somewhere.
ऐसे श्रेष्ठ
So
पुरुष
then these internet
गुरु
gurus will become their gurus.
ऐसा
So
तो
then
जो कोई गुरु बनता है उसका कुछ तो ज्ञान होता है, कुछ तो आचरण
it
रहता
is
है,
not that
तो अच्छा
anybody who is a guru is a complete fraud. Nobody is a complete fraud. At least he is having something good. So it is comparatively it is better to follow that guru rather than these internet leaders,
आजकल यही
social media leaders. But these social media leaders, they are governing the society nowadays. So this is a very dangerous situation in today's society.
उपनिषद का श्लोक जो है
So this Kathopanishad verse,
के ऊपर बनाया गया
this is uh, exactly explaining today's situation.
और ये
People are living in avidya,
आजकल तो इन्हीं को हीरो बनाते हैं ना सबको।
and these are becoming Shrestha Purushas. Nowadays, these people are considered heroes, like Elon Musk.
आपका जितना भी विकिपीडिया है उस पे क्या लिखते हैं क्या नहीं लिखते हैं,
Whatever people write on Wikipedia, etc., if you search, you get some information from there. Whatever is being put on YouTube, these people are controlling everything. What should be projected to people, what you should study, what you should wear, how you should live, everything is being controlled by these influencers.
वो पीछे बैठे हुए हैं,
So they are Shrestha Purushas, they are sitting behind in the background. You don't even know about them, what they are doing, what they are not doing, but they are controlling your life.
तो ये और भी भयंकर स्थिति है।
So this is very dangerous.
वही है
So this is
परियंती मूढ़ा, तो मूढ़ का मतलब जो मोहित व्यक्ति है, तो वो दंद्रम में माना, वो इधर
so
उधर
the
भटक
person
रहा है,
who is under illusion, he is wandering here and there, trying this, that.
पता नहीं कि मैं कहाँ जा रहा हूँ,
He doesn't know where he is going.
ये आज की स्थिति है।
This is today's situation.
तो इसलिए
That is why
गीता का बहुत महत्व है,
Bhagavad Gita is very important.
बहुत जरूरी है,
It is very important to study Bhagavad Gita
क्योंकि
and to understand
ज्ञान
in
देता
our life.
तो अब इस विषय में अगले श्लोक में
So then,
भगवान
regarding this, in the next verse, Bhagavan is giving example, because whenever you have to explain something, first of all you tell the Siddhanta, the principle, and then you give example for that. So Bhagavan is giving his own example, that you see me.
त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन नानवाप्तम अवाप्तव्यम वर्तएव च कर्मणि। हे अर्जुन,
Translation:
मेरे लिए कोई कर्तव्य
O Arjuna, I have no duty to perform. Since there is nothing whatsoever in the three worlds that is not already obtained by me, nor anything to be attained in the future. Yet still, I too am engaged in action.
तो मनुष्य जो हम इस संसार में जीते हैं,
So, we people who are living in this world, it is not that we do not have to obtain anything.
हम तो भगवान की तरह नहीं है ना कि
We are not like Bhagavan that we have everything.
अवाप्तम अवाप्तव्यम, मुझे ऐसी कोई चीज नहीं है जो प्राप्त करनी है,
Bhagavan is telling that there is nothing what's in the three world that is not already obtained by him
कार्य करता हूँ।
or to be attained. And that Bhagavan is telling that in spite of this, he is always engaged in action. So he is telling Arjun that, see Arjun, I am not just lecturing you, but I am actually following what I am speaking. So the point is what Bhagavan is speaking, that we should follow the Kartavya Karma.
दिखा रहे हैं अपने जीवन में।
He is also showing that.
मेरे को रथ हाँकने की क्या आवश्यकता है?
Why does Bhagavan have to drive the chariot?
जो त्रिलोकी नाथ है और वो
One who is Lord of the three worlds
तो अपना कर्तव्य निभा रहे हैं,
is driving the chariot.
वो मना भी कर सकते थे,
He could have refused also.
मैं तो आराम से घर बैठूंगा, और वो भी इतना
He
खतरे
could have said that, why should I drive the chariot? Why should I, especially driving a vehicle on a road and driving chariot on the battlefield is like staking your own life. Bhagavan was also getting hurt by arrows were hitting Bhagavan also. The arrows which were being thrown on Arjuna,
और भगवान के ऊपर बाण आएंगे तो वो क्या करेंगे बेचारे?
Arjun at least had his bow and arrow. He could have cut those arrows. But Bhagavan had no weapon in his hand. He
बाण लगते थे,
was just whipping the horses.
पढ़े हैं
So Bhagavan was also getting hit so many times by arrows. If you study Mahabharata, so many times it is mentioned that there was some warrior in front of Arjun.
सारथी भी मार दिया, उसको भी मार दिया, सब मार दिया। तो ऐसा थोड़ी है कि
So Arjun killed the horses also, the chariot driver also, destroyed the chariot also. So it is not that the chariot drivers were wearing some bulletproof jacket or something.
कि उसका स्थान थोड़ा नीचे
The chariot drivers were in front of the
होके लड़ते हैं,
in front of the warrior, just that they were sitting at a level below.
तो गलती से भी
But if the warrior in front is shooting arrows,
चला रहे हैं,
so even by mistake it can hit the chariot driver.
चलाने की बहुत प्रकार की कला होती थी, तो जो
There
सारथी
were so
चलाता
many
था,
different ways of
देखता था, कभी
driving the chariot. So the chariot driver used to sometimes they used to uh,
अपने
uh,
पे नीचे चले जाएंगे,
they used to take the horses down. Sometimes they used to make the horses jump.
साइड में ले जाना, सारथी केवल ऐसे नहीं,
Sometimes they used to turn the horses left or right very quickly. So the chariot driver has to be very expert. He should be expert in understanding how I have to protect
तो ये सब भगवान
my soldier, my warrior from all these arrows.
को करने के
So Bhagavan is telling that, see, I am doing all this, even though there is no duty that I have to perform in all the three worlds.
शरीर भी होता है, मेरे को देव योनि में भी कुछ प्राप्त करने की जरूरत नहीं है, मनुष्य
I do not have to take I do not have to take either any human body, animal body, or any body of the Devata to do anything.
वामन देव बन गए तो बेचारे भीख मांगने गए,
In the Deva Yoni, when Bhagavan became Vaman Dev, then he went begging.
में आ गए तो युद्ध किया ना हिरण्याक्ष से,
In the Varaha form, he fought
उखाड़ के लाया,
against Hiranyaksha. He lifted the earth
जल में निमक
out of the water.
काम कर
So he is showing that he is always engaged in action.
कर्तव्य, फिर भी न
So he is showing that he is telling that there is no duty that I am bound to perform, but I am always engaged in action.
कोई कहेगा
The question is, why am I engaged in action? Because people may say that without any motive, without any purpose or goal,
करने के
nobody does anything without any motive to attain anything, because every action has a result.
आश्रय तो तेंगे स्मृता, तो उसका कुछ तो फल होता है ना,
So every action has a result,
इसलिए ही हम काम करते हैं,
and we act for the for deriving the result, to get the result only.
भगवान क्यों करते हैं?
Without result, nobody acts.
तो वो परोक्ष
So why is Bhagavan engaged in action?
इसलिए
Bhagavan is engaged in action for others' benefit,
क्योंकि
for the benefit of this world.
स्वयं कामना से वासना से रहित है,
Because a person who himself is free from material desires, Only such a person can actually benefit others. One who is full of desires,
क्या करेगा?
vasanas,
वो तो अपना
how
ही
will
करेगा।
that person benefit others? He will always be self-centered.
तो इसलिए ऐसे व्यक्ति ही वास्तव में प्रचार के योग्य होते हैं।
So these are the people, these detached people who are
नहीं तो
actually
प्रचार
qualified for
करके अपनी
preaching.
वासना पूर्ति करते हैं।
Otherwise, when self-centered, selfish people they do preaching,
वो उसका
then preaching becomes a medium for them to fulfill their own ulterior desires, ulterior motives.
काम क्यों करेगा ऐसे?
It it is not possible. One who is
इसलिए वो
who
कहते हैं
having
कि
one is having material desire and he works for others' benefit.
लेकिन यहाँ श्लोक में
So
तो
Bhagavan
नहीं
is
है,
telling,
इसको आप समझ लेंगे। भगवान
Bhagavan,
इसलिए
although it
कहते
is not written in the verse,
हैं में इसमें
although
लिखा है,
but later Bhagavan will say,
साधुनाम विनाशाय च दुष्कृताम धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे। तो साधुओं की रक्षा करने के लिए
Bhagavan says later that I appear in this world to protect the sadhus,
समाज में धर्म की स्थापना करने
to
के लिए
destroy the demoniac,
कार्य करते हैं,
to establish dharma in the society. So this is all paropkar. This is benefiting others. This is not, Bhagavan is not gaining anything by doing all this.
ना
Now in this verse, there is a word
कि मेरे को ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है जो
anavaptam, meaning that there is nothing that I have not obtained. So some people give meaning for this word. The Gita commentators they explain this word saying that this Krishna he also did sadhana and whatever had to be attained he attained that by his sadhana. That is why he is telling that nothing is remaining for me to be attained because Bhagavan realization is highest. So one who has realized Bhagavan, what is remaining for such a person to attain? So these some Gita commentators, they comment like this, that Krishna attained everything and the highest thing to be attained is Brahma and he attained that. That's why he is telling that I have attained this and nothing remains for me to be attained because Brahma is one only. But from the point of view of bhakti, this explanation is not correct. The real meaning is that there is nothing which Bhagavan needs to actually attain because this world is created by him only, it belongs to him. So what does he have to attain from anybody? But still he is telling Varta eva. Eva means that I am engaged in action only. So why is he engaged in action only? That is for Loka Sangraha, for benefiting this world. Like he had told earlier also that you work for Loka Sangraha. So Bhagavan acts for Loka Sangraha, for benefiting this world. And this is his Leela, working for others' benefit. So he derives lot of ananda in working for others. Then somebody may say, so that does that mean if he does not work for others, he will not be in ananda? His ananda depends on this? No, his ananda does not depend on this work because he is ananda swarup, he is ananda vigraha, his form is ananda. He works out of ananda. He is not working to derive ananda. There are some actions we do to get ananda, and there are some actions which we do because we are already in ananda. Like you are dancing because you are in ananda. So the dance is not to get ananda, but it is out of ananda. One is to act for getting something, and one is because you have something, so you act. Those are two different things. So it is said regarding Tansen in Vrindavan, there is Bake Bihari Ji temple, the deity manifested by desire of Swami Haridas. So Tansen was one of the 9 gems. The court of Akbar, he used to sing there. Akbar was very fond of music, singing. So one day Akbar started praising him. Like I said earlier, when somebody actually has good qualities, we naturally start praising that person. So Tansen was actually a singer of the highest caliber. So Tansen, when Akbar praised Tansen, Tansen said, "No, this is what I am doing is nothing. you have not seen my Guru.
उन्होंने कहा अच्छा आपके गुरुजी आपसे ही
So
बढ़िया बजाते
Akbar
हैं।
was surprised that your Guru sings better than you also. So he requested Tansen, why don't you call him here?
वो यहाँ नहीं
I like to hear him. So Akbar said
नहीं
that,
आएंगे तो
sorry, Tansen said he will not come here.
ऐसा कैसे कैसे है कि यहाँ नहीं
So
क्योंकि
Akbar thought, how
मैं
can
जो
he, why will he
चाहेंगे
not
वो
come
मैं
here?
दूंगा उनको।
Akbar said, no, whatever he wants, I will give him.
तो अकबर
So
ने जब
Tansen said he doesn't need
तो
anything.
उन्होंने कहा कि
Akbar did not
इसका
understand what is
इसका
the meaning of he does not need
मैं
anything. Then
संगीत
Tansen
इसलिए
said,
हूँ आपके यहाँ क्योंकि मुझे कुछ प्राप्त करना है।
Tansen said that I am singing in front of you because I want something, but my Guru
प्राप्त कर लिया है
sings because he has already attained
यही हमारा
something.
अंतर है इसलिए
This
उनका
is the
संगीत
difference
बहुत
between
अच्छा
me and
है
my
और
Guru,
हमको कुछ
and
प्राप्त
that is
करना
why my singing is nothing compared to his
है। तो
singing.
इसलिए
So that is why
आनंद के लिए कार्य करना
one is to
और
act
आनंद से
to get
करना
Ananda, and one is to act out of
भगवान
Ananda.
बोलते हैं नान अवाप्तम
So
अवाप्तव्यम
here, when Bhagavan
इसलिए
is
ऐसा
saying
अर्थ नहीं लगाना चाहिए कि उन्हें कुछ प्राप्त करना है।
in this verse, we should not derive that meaning that he is acting for others' benefit
तो
to get something. He
इससे
already
हमें
has
ये शिक्षा
everything.
लेनी चाहिए कि इस
So we
संसार
should
में
also learn from this verse
वास्तव में
that
प्राप्त
in
करने
this
जैसी कोई
world
चीज है नहीं।
there is nothing worth
प्राप्त
attaining.
करने वाली तो केवल एक चीज है
The
वो है
only thing worth
परे।
attaining is beyond this world.
जैसा कि भागवत में कहा है कि
Like it is said in Bhagavatam,
न प्राप्त भ्राम्यते ऊपरी अधा, उसी के लिए आपको चेष्टा करनी चाहिए जो इस संसार में मिलती नहीं है और वो है भगवत प्रेम।
that we should work hard only to get that which is not available in this
आगे
world,
जो भी चीज आपको
and that
प्राप्त
is
होगी
love of love for
वो
Bhagavan.
प्राप्त होती
Because in this world, whatever you will get, actually you are not getting
वस्तु
that
के साथ में कोई
because
संबंध होता नहीं
Atma has no relation with anything material.
तो असली चीज जो प्राप्त करने वाली है
The
वो
real
भगवान
thing
भगवान
worth
की प्रीति
attaining,
ही है।
it is Preeti for Bhagavan.
बाकी जो क्रियाकलाप हैं वो तो भगवान ही इसको
All these
बोलते हैं कि अहंकार विमूढ़
material activities which are going on in this world, Bhagavan already has said about that in Gita,
तो वास्तव में
that this is
हमें जो कर्म करना है जिसके
all
लिए हम
out of
कर
ahankar.
रहे हैं
So what we actually should do
कर्मयोग
regarding that, Bhagavan
उसके
is
लिए
telling
कर्म
here,
जनक आदि
Karma Yoga, he is telling that the
लोगों ने
kings like
कर्म से ही सिद्धि
Janaka,
प्राप्त की।
great
वो
people
सिद्धि
like
क्या है?
Vidur,
भगवत प्राप्ति।
they achieved perfection,
तो
Siddhi by
कर्म
Karma
से
Yoga.
वास्तव में
What is that
भगवान
Siddhi? That is Bhagavat, achieving Bhagavan only. So that should be the goal of karma, that
भक्ति को प्राप्त
we
करें।
attain
बाकी जो
bhakti for
कर्म हम
Bhagavan.
करते हैं वो तो वास्तव में
Other than bhakti, whatever we attain, it is all temporary.
कर भी लेंगे
Even if we get that, what is the use of that?
तो उसी के लिए भगवान कहते हैं कि
So for that reason only, Bhagavan
करने
says
वाली चीज
that
नहीं है।
there is nothing left for there
तो
for
ये
me to
हमारे
attain.
आदर्श हैं। तो संस्कृत
So
में
Bhagavan is our ideal.
मिरर को भी आदर्श बोलते
In
हैं।
Sanskrit, mirror is also called
मिरर में
Adarsha.
आप अपना मुख देख सकते हैं
Example, ideal. Because you see
इसलिए
yourself
उसको आदर्श
in
बोलते
the
हैं
mirror.
जो आपको
That
दिखाता
is
है।
why it is called Adarsha, means it gives
तो
the
जो
darshan, it
आदर्श
shows
पुरुष
you,
होते हैं
you can see yourself in that.
उनमें भी
So
हम देख
the
सकते हैं कि
Adarsha people, the ideal people,
उनके
we
आचरण
can
से
see in them where we
उनकी
stand
स्थिति
compared to them,
के बारे में संज्ञान ले
compared to
सकते
their
हैं कि
character,
हमारी
their
स्थिति क्या
behavior,
है इसलिए
what is
हम
our
उनसे
current
सीख सकते हैं।
situation. That's why they are called
उनसे
Adarsha,
सीख लें।
so that
भगवान तो
we
सबसे
understand from them, we learn from them.
और
So
सर्वोत्तम
Bhagavan
है
is the topmost personality.
इसलिए वो
He is the most ideal
प्राप्त
person.
करने के लिए नहीं
So he is
कहते
the real Adarsha. And he is saying that there is nothing for me to
ये सीख
attain.
हमको भी उनसे लेनी
So
चाहिए।
this is what we should
सब
also
भगवान
learn
से
from
प्राप्त हुआ
him.
है
That
हमको
everything is given by Bhagavan, everything belongs to Bhagavan, starting from our material body to
इसलिए
everything.
हमें
So
कर्म करना
everything
चाहिए।
should be
कम से कम ये
engaged
सब
in
भाव
his
तो हमें बनाना
seva.
चाहिए
At least we
कि हम
should
जो भी
try
करें
to
उसमें ये भाव
inculcate,
रखें कि
imbibe this
भगवान की
bhava,
प्रीति
this
के लिए
mentality, that whatever I am
और इस
doing,
प्रकार का
I am
भाव
doing
जब
for
हमारे
his
अंदर
pleasure, for his
तो
preeti. So
हमारा
slowly,
जीवन
slowly, if we have this mentality, this
ये
bhava,
भावना
then we will, uh,
गहराई से
this
बढ़ती है
bhakti bhav will
जो कि हमारे
become
जीवन को
deeper in our chitta, which is actually the goal of our
कर्म योग
life.
का है यहाँ पर
So the section here is actually of Karma Yoga,
वास्तव में
but
गीता का जो
because the essence of Gita is Bhakti Yoga.
तो इन सब श्लोकों का अर्थ
So these verses
भक्ति में भी लगाया जा सकता है।
can be explained in the context of Bhakti also.
तो आज का प्रवचन यहीं पर
So
समाप्त
we will
करते हैं।
stop here.
तो पूछ
If you have any question, you can ask.
चेतना जी का प्रश्न है, हम स्वयं को
Question:
कार्य क्षेत्र में ऐसी बुरी संगति से कैसे बचाएं जहां शराब
how do we
तथा जुआ
protect
आदि
ourselves
कार्यक्रम
from places
हिस्सा है?
where
ऐसे
or
आयोजनों में
associations
व्यवसाय
where
व्यवसाय
such
करें तथा उनके
action
सहयोगियों के
activities are going on like gambling,
मैं
etc.
तुरंत ही नौकरी बदलने में असमर्थ भी हूँ।
Because due to in my occupation, my profession is such that sometimes I am forced to involve myself in such places, be present in such places, but I cannot give up my job immediately. So answer: do not you act as if you are helplessly doing that, but not doing out of your interest and enthusiasm. The problem is when you engage, associate with these things from your heart, then you get the samskara for those activities.
समर्थन मत कीजिए।
So from your mind, your heart, you should never acknowledge or accept or give support to these activities. You can just accept that there is some, this is some result of my previous bad karma, because of which I have to now engage in such action or involve with such people. And you should very seriously pray to Bhagavan that he pulls you out from this situation and engages you in his seva.
नवदीप जी का प्रश्न है,
Next question:
उपदेश के संबंध में
regarding
कुछ प्रमुख
preaching,
गौड़ीय
some prominent Gaudiya Vaishnavas
संसार में
are very active
वे अक्सर
in spreading the teachings of Krishna. They often emphasize that even if one is not fully qualified, it is acceptable to deliver the message of Godhead, provided it is presented as it is and under guidance.
तो मेरा
So,
प्रश्न है, क्या हमें
question number one:
दूसरों को
should we refrain
वैष्णवों
from
और
discussing or encouraging others to follow the instructions of Vaishnavas and Krishna until we ourselves
जब तक कि
have become fully competent?
नहीं हो जाते?
नहीं, जैसा मैंने कहा कि
No.
मैं
Answer:
प्रचार का विरोधी नहीं
I said that I am not against preaching,
लगा देना जब तक
but
आपके अंदर ये
engaging your whole life in preaching in spite of not being qualified. One is that you are, let's say, working in office or whatever, and you can discuss about bhakti, let's say, with your family members, friends, or people in office, whatever, if they have interest.
लग जाए जबकि आपके अंदर
But
योग्यता नहीं है, तो उसके
leaving everything and engaging whole life in preaching, even though if you are disqualified, not qualified, that is not correct.
उसके लिए समर्थ है,
That's why I said one who is qualified,
ज्ञान है।
who has the correct knowledge and correct character, he should do that.
जो तर्क
And
दिया
in
जाता है
Gita, Bhagavan is telling
भी आधार नहीं
this logic which people give, that logic does not have any basis in Shastra. In Gita also, what Bhagavan is telling, teach Gita.
मद भक्ते स्वविधास्यति भक्तिमयी पराकृत्वा मामे वैश्यस्य संशय। वो कहते हैं जो इस मेरे परम
Bhagavan is
प्रिय
telling one who explains this secret knowledge of Gita to the devotees, to the bhaktas. He is telling very clearly, one who explains to the bhaktas. He is told very clearly that explain Gita to my bhaktas, to my devotees. So we have to understand in two ways. One is that in our daily life, whichever people we meet, if they have some interest in hearing or learning, you can tell them. But one, the acting like for preaching like some missionary activity, for that you should be highly qualified. That is what I understand from here.
प्रश्न है, यदि
Second
नहीं
question:
तो
if
किसी को यह
not,
सुनिश्चित
what
करने के लिए
guidelines should
किन
one follow
निर्देशों
to
का पालन
ensure
करना चाहिए?
that the message is delivered appropriately
उचित रूप
and
से
without
और ईमानदारी
distortion,
बिना वितरित
even
किए
if one is not fully up to the mark and
तरह से सही और सच्चा
realized?
दोबारा से बोलो।
उन्होंने ये बोला है कि अगर नहीं तो किसी को यह सुनिश्चित करने के लिए किन दिशा निर्देशों का पालन
तो
करना
पहले
चाहिए?
शास्त्र का ज्ञान होना चाहिए ना, सीधी बात है। मैंने
So answer: first of all, you should have expert knowledge of Shastra. As I said, you need two things. One is knowledge of Shastra and second is ideal character,
जो हो तो और भी अच्छा है, वो उसके ऊपर अनुभव होना चाहिए।
and
क्योंकि
third
जब
is realization of that.
तो वो लोग प्रश्न
If that is there, that is great, because when you are preaching, people will ask you questions, and if you do not have answers to the questions, you will not say that I do not know. Mostly people do not say that I do not know, because they have occupied such a prestigious, they have made such an image of themselves that they know everything.
तो अब जब आप नहीं जानेंगे
So now you cannot, when you do not know the answer to some question, you will give wrong answers, you will fake some answers.
अपराध होगा शास्त्र।
So this is an offense to Shastra.
तो इसलिए मैंने कहा कि पहले
That's why I said that
गीता का ही प्रचार करते हैं।
even if let's say you are teaching Gita, then at least you learn Gita.
गीता समझना कोई आसान है क्या?
Do you think it is easy to understand Bhagavad Gita?
गीता के आगे वाली चीजें तो और भी
And those Shastras which are
सी पुस्तक है,
after, beyond, above Gita, after Gita, Bhagavad Gita is so small. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there are more than 2000 verses.
समझना
So understanding that, at least you should study that.
ऐसा मेरा अनुभव है कि प्राय
So my experience is that most of the people who are preaching, they have not even studied Bhagavad Gita.
उठा के पढ़ लिया उसको
Studying does not mean that you just pick up Bhagavad Gita and read that. When I say study, I mean studying under a guru,
कि उसका अध्ययन करो,
studying under the lotus feet of guru, and then learning and imbibing that. Then you teach to others, there is no problem.
थोड़ा पढ़ लिया आपने,
But as I said, you just read little bit here and there, you get some knowledge by hearing from random sources.
ज्ञान थोड़ी होता
Do you think this is called knowledge?
है। आम आदमी से तो आप अच्छे ही हैं,
You may say that you are better than the ordinary person who doesn't know anything. And ordinary people don't have so many questions also, so you can answer them.
लेकिन
But
जब आपको कुछ कोई लोग बुद्धिमान लोग कुछ प्रश्न
if
पूछेंगे
some
या
intelligent wise person asks some question
कैसे
to you,
स्थिति में क्या आचरण करना चाहिए,
or
तो वहां पे फिर समस्या
about
खड़ी हो
what to do, what not to do in some situation, then you will be confused what to answer. So if you want to preach, you preach. I am not stopping you from preaching. I am just saying that you should become qualified.
जाती। धर्म और है क्या?
What is Varna? What else is Varnashram Dharma? This is Varnashram Dharma.
जो ब्राह्मण है वो
Varnashram Dharma means Brahman does the job of Brahman because he is qualified for that.
भाग से गुण और कर्म, तो पहले गुण आया ना,
So first is Guna.
प्राप्त हो और फिर उसके
If you get the Guna, then you do the karma according to the Guna.
और क्या है?
So this is Acharan. What else is Acharan?
गुस्तावो जी का प्रश्न है,
Next question.
प्रारंभ में उचित ज्ञान
Is right knowledge enough at first, or is right action also required to respect intelligence? So counter question, what right action are you speaking about?
कार्य क्या है?
What do you mean by right action?
आपने बताया कि
हाँ, तो आप ज्ञान प्राप्त क्या आप 5 मिनट में ज्ञान प्राप्त कर लेंगे क्या?
Do you think you will get knowledge in 5 minutes?
लगेगा नहीं लगेगा?
It takes, do you think it will not take a lot of time to get knowledge?
करना चाहिए।
So when you are getting the right knowledge, that time you have to act also in proper way according to the knowledge.
ऐसा तो है नहीं कि आप इंतजार करते रहिए,
It is not that you keep waiting that first I will get all the complete knowledge and then I will start acting accordingly. No, it happens simultaneously.
सुनेंगे और
It happens together.
अनुरूप आचरण करेंगे, दोनों
Both are parallel.
प्राप्त होगी।
So when you get proper knowledge and according to that you keep acting, behaving.
संदीप जी का प्रश्न है, क्या हमारा आचरण ही प्रचार
Next
नहीं हो
question.
सकता?
Can our behavior itself not become preaching?
आप आचरण
Our character, can it itself not become preaching? Answer, definitely. If you have proper character, proper behavior, act accordingly, that definitely influences others.
ठीक है, मंगलाचरण श्लोक,
So we'll recite the prayer verses.
प्रार्थना श्लोक। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपाल नंदनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महात् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्र गीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मंत्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः यच्छ्रेयः स्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम् यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर्ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमः पंकजांघ्रये भवे भवे यथा भक्तिः पादयोस्तव जायते तथा कुरुष्व देवेश नाथस्त्वं नो यतः प्रभो नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपापप्रणाशनं प्रणामो दुःखशमनस्तं नमामि हरिं परं हरि ओम तत्सत्।